much for working out with me. Wasn't that fun working out
No problem.
with the pumpkins?
Yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah. So you're an athlete yourself, aren't you?
I am. I'm on the national team for track cycling, and I do the sprint side of it, so really short efforts.
So what I also love about pumpkins is that you can work out with them, but then you can also like go home and cook stuff with them. And we're here at Venatucci Farm, and you know, it's a great spot. There's a race going on today and a lot of activity, and people are using their pumpkins. They're going to take them home, and whether they're going to paint them or cook with them. It's awesome. But I'm curious, when you're done with your races, what do you look for in your food for like fueling properly, you know?
Yeah, you want to have protein, and then you want to have carbohydrates too. You know, just replenish all your glycogen, make sure your muscles are recovering, so you can get ready for the next day of training. And then you want to have all the colors just to make sure your body is working.
Yeah, that's an excellent point that you brought up. So pumpkins are great because, you know, they have tons of carbs and fiber, and they come in so many colors too, like pumpkins. And look at all these squash we have here. You know, pumpkins are part of the squash family, and so they come in so many colors, which means they have so many different nutrients in them, and that's great. One of the things that we do with the Flying Carrot is we have this Venatucci bar that we created, and it's a bar that we made with the pumpkin squashes that we get here at Venatucci Farm, and it's a perfect recovery bar because it has the carbs in it from the pumpkin and from the fruit. And then we also add some nuts and seeds, which add some protein and fat. So it's like a perfect, like, immune boosting and refueling snack. So
yeah, and they're good too. And a lot of times, if athletes don't think it tastes good, they won't eat it.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing is, you know, adding all the different flavors in there, and then adding the spices of cinnamon and ginger, you know, really adds some flavor to it. So it's really good. Yeah, awesome. Well, let's go have some now that we're done working out.
Yeah.
Today we are going to be making Venatucci bars, and the reason we call them Venatucci bars is because we are going to use pumpkins that we used to get at Venatucci Farm. We used to go down there. They're located in South Colorado Springs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all the dry ingredients in one bowl and all the wet ingredients in another bowl. So starting with our dry ingredients, we have a half cup of millet, we have a half cup of flaked oats, and we have 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. Now I'm gonna add in all the flavorings and the spices. So we have about a half cup of raisins, pumpkin seeds, some slivered almonds, and then we have our spices. So this has ginger, nutmeg, clove, and then just a little baking powder to help. So I'm gonna give these just a quick little stir, mix them all together. As you can see, I mean, it just basically looks like flour with some stuff in it. So for our wet ingredients, we are going to add in our 2 cups of squash. We have a half cup of honey, about 2 tablespoons of molasses, and then a cup of sunflower oil. And then lastly, we are just going to add in our 2 eggs. So just like the dry ingredients, I'm going to mix all these up together first. And once the eggs have blended nice and well with the squash and the honey, I'm going to add the dry ingredients to the wet because it's so much easier getting all of this out of the bowl instead of getting the honey out. And now I'm just going to mix it, folding the liquid into the flour. And when it's done, it's going to be a very thick texture, kind of like cookie dough. All right, so once it's all mixed, it's going to look like this. It smells like pumpkin pie. So now I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna add it to a greased pan. And this doesn't really rise that much, so it's better to make it nice and thick. So I'd recommend about 1 inch thick on the pan. And then we are gonna bake it for 35 minutes at 350 degrees. All right, so now that it's all spread out on the pan, I'm gonna go put it in the oven. So now that they're done, they're out of the oven, and I sliced them into nice little squares and they're ready for eating.